Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Welcome in, along with myself, Maurice Patton, and Chris Yao. And as is so often the case, it's been Monday all day long.
Yeah, it has. It's been a ridiculous day, been a ridiculous weekend. Missed you guys on Friday because it started then, and it really started, I guess, Thursday.
Yeah.
Because
Monday started early.
I didn't have my car on Thursday, and then it just kind of spilled over, and still don't have one till now. So,
Snowball,
yeah, I'm
maybe?
struggling.
Yeah.
I'm on the struggle bus,
we are
literally.
we are on the struggle bus. Well, I guess probably for you, the struggle bus would be an improvement because at least you'd be moving.
Exactly. Yeah, the Muletown trolley doesn't come all the way to the house.
Doesn't come out that far, huh?
So I got to walk to even get to that. That doesn't work for me. So
that's unfortunate. We are coming to you from the Lee Company studios. Chris is actually in studio. How'd you get there?
I'm test driving a car.
You're test driving a car.
I test drove it from the lot to my office. This is pretty genius.
How'd it drive?
It's great. I'm gonna go buy it as soon as we get off the air. I'm taking them a check.
Well, congratulations. Hey, new to you. Well,
new to me. Yes,
yeah,
it is definitely not a new car.
Meanwhile, I am in the Lee Company studio of my own home here in Williamson County. Exactly. Here in Williamson County, which is also home to a state basketball champion as of Saturday afternoon.
Woohoo! Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about that and other state championships and Friday games, semifinals as well. It was a really exciting tournament and worthy of discussion.
Worthy of our attention, and so attention we will give it. We will also be talking in the next hour to Ann Kimmel of Penalty Box Radio as stop me if you've heard this, but the Predators are on a roll.
I'm telling you, man, every time we say that, though, they end up not being on a roll. So, but we have not jinxed it yet.
Shh. Knock on wood.
Man.
Yeah,
12-0-2, baby.
Yeah, but as you said, this is going to be pretty much a basketball-driven show today. We'll be talking high school basketball from the weekend. We'll be talking college basketball from the weekend. NCAA basketball coming up. I like this one item in the run of show. Greg Sankey is the worst? ? You might can remove that question mark.
Yeah,
friend of the show, Greg Sankey. I hate to drop the hammer on him, but he kind of deserves it.
Now, I've been sitting here going, probably not a great year for me to go to SEC Media Days. Okay, maybe it's the best year for me to go to SEC Media Days.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Because Greg, we have questions.
And it might be the last year you go to SEC Media Days.
Yeah, they are blackballed.
Yeah. So, also we got MON-STARS. Theoretically, I don't have any, but
yet
hopefully by then I will. So,
same.
Gonna be a big show. Gonna be a good show. Looking forward to the next hour and 56 minutes. So let's go ahead and get into it, Chris, with this weekend's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy. Zion Christian offers a faith-based, Christ-centered education in Murray County. Give them a call at 931-388-5831 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule your appointment today. Zion Christian Academy, prepared for college, equipped for purpose.
High school boys basketball from Friday. These were state semifinal matchups here. Chattanooga Prep in Class 1A defeated Santa Fe 62-51. In Class 2A, it was Douglas out of Memphis with a 67-39 win over Whites Creek. At Creekwood 65-29, and in 4 Crossview, Saturday's championship game in 4A, Independence defeated Cookeville 53-44. It was the first state championship for Independence following last year's state runner-up finish. And as I mentioned, the first one in Williamson County since 1989 when the Franklin High School Rebels defeated Whites Creek 44-42. It was a 2-point game. I don't remember, but I was there. Anyway, baseball from Friday. Columbia Central with a 7-5 win over Ensworth. It was Gallatin down in White House Heritage 7-5. Tullahoma 9, Oakland 2, Riverdale 10, Coffee County 4. Rossview with a pair of victories, 10-4 over Coffee County and 13-2 over South Haven of Mississippi. No, I misread that. Rossview 13, South Haven, Mississippi 2, Rossview 6, Bartlett 3. There we go. Shelbyville with a 5-4 win over Middle Tennessee Christian. It was Clarksville Academy 7, Siegel 4, Clarksville with an 11-10 pitchers duel victory over Stewart's Creek, and Fulton defeated Whites Creek 18-1. Also, Wayne County defeated Zion Christian 12-3.
On Saturday, Clarksville down Blackman 5-0, and Clarksville Academy blanked Laverne 3-0. It was Mount Juliet edging Columbia 8-7. Columbia Academy with a big win over Rocket City, Alabama 7-3. It was Creekwood 5, Dixon County 2. Tullahoma 10-4 winners over Middle Tennessee Christian. Mount Juliet falls to Clarksville 2-0, and Murfreesboro Central Magna was a 9-4 win over Greenville. Murfreesboro Central also defeated Carnes 3-1, and Oakland doubled up Shelbyville 6-3. That was Providence Academy's 3-2 winners over Watertown. Ravenwood 8-0 over Montgomery Central. Riverdale falls to Tullahoma 2-1. It was Rossview 12, Champaign Central of Illinois 2. Science Hill 17-4 winners over Montgomery Central. Stewart's Creek down Shelbyville 14-2. While Siegel gets a pair of wins, 7-6 over Ensworth and 9-5 over Beach. Zion Christian bounces back with a 13-2 win over Clarksville Christian. On the smaller diamond, softball on Friday, Creekwood doubled up Farragut 4-2. It was Siegel 4, Clarksville nothing, Siegel 5, Creekwood 2. Richland blanked Spring Hill 6-0, and Zion Christian was an 8-0 winner over Mount Pleasant.
On Saturday, it was Columbia Academy with a 14-6 win over Riverdale. Community won a pair of games, downing Spring Hill 11-2 and Richland 10-5. Nolensville with a 7-1 victory over Franklin County. Beach also, tough day for Franklin County. Beach down the Lady Rebels 13-1, and Wilson Central with a 5-0 victory over Franklin County. It was Greenwood of Kentucky 5, Gallatin 2, South Warren of Kentucky 12, Gallatin 1. Station Camp with an 18-0 win over Laverne. Loretto fell to Hackleburg, Alabama 7-0, and to Wilson, Alabama 3-1, but bounced back for an 8-4 victory over Lexington of Alabama.
That is a weird team to beat in that scenario.
I'll take your word for it. Oakland drops a 3-2 decision to Halls out of West Tennessee, but came back to defeat Mount Juliet 9-1 and Marshall County 3-2. Smyrna with a pair of victories, 7-3 over Watertown, 5-0 over Independence, but lost to Mount Juliet 8-6. It was Station Camp 3, Wilson Central 1. Zion Christian won its invitational with a 4-1 win over Community, 6-1 over Richland, 14-0 over Hickman County, and 4-3 over Spring Hill. Boys soccer action from Friday. On the pitch, it was Riverdale 1-0 over Blackman. Dobbins Bennett with a 1-0 victory over Station Camp. Gallatin 2, Knoxville Central 1, Hendersonville 2, Bearden 1. Rockville 1-0 against Oakland. South Doyle with a 4-1 victory over Providence Christian. It was Boaz, Alabama, doubling up Siegel 2-1. Chattanooga Christian and Siegel played to a 1-1 draw, and Zion Christian edged Columbia Academy 3-2.
On Saturday, Dixon County down Cook County 5-2. Bearden
Cook County.
Sorry, it's a long.
Yeah.
Bearden was a 3-0 winner over Gallatin. Good Pasture 7-4 winners over Jackson Christian. You see, I'm like, I need to just make this font bigger. There we go.
And you give me a hard time.
Buckhorn of Alabama and Providence Christian a 0-0 draw. Pelham of Alabama same with Siegel 0-0. It was Smith County 4. East Robertson 1 on Sunday. Dixon County blanked Livingston Academy 2-0, and Dobbins Bennett and Page with a 0-0 draw. Men's basketball action from Friday, Mississippi State down Tennessee 73-56. Western Kentucky was an 85-54 winner over Middle Tennessee State. And in the NAIA National Tournament, UT Southern took it to Tougaloo, 91-84 in the first round, but fell to host Indiana Wesleyan 92-81. So their season ends, but a heck of a run for the Firehawk men. Women's in the Conference USA tournament, it was Middle Tennessee State on Friday, defeating La Tech 62-56. Belmont down to Illinois Chicago 70-65. And on Saturday, Belmont's season ended, at least they may be in the basketball invitational, I'm not sure. 63-48, the final there. Missouri State takes down the Lady Bruins. And Middle Tennessee State defeated Liberty 67-51 to win the Conference USA tournament. In the NCAA Division II regionals on Friday, it was Grand Valley State 63-35 winners over Trevecca. Lady Trojans season ends there. And in the NAIA first round, Indiana Wesleyan put it to Fisk 100-69. On the ice, the Predators were a 4-1 winner over the Kraken on Saturday. In the association, the Thunder defeated the Grizzlies 118-112. And on the pitch, Charlotte gets the wrath of Nashville SC and MLS play 2-1, the final for the home team.
Baseball action today at the high school level. Chris, is Rocket City, is that a...
I'm pretty sure that's a Tennessee Heat.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Rocket City of Alabama comes to Giles County for a 4:30 first pitch. Also at 4:30, Summertown plays Smith County. At 5, it's South Haven Christian at Zion Christian. Also at 5, Mount Juliet Christian plays at the Middle Tennessee Monarchs. Santa Fe is at Wayne County at 5. Christ Presbyterian goes to Clarksville Academy at 5. At 5:30, Hampshire visits McEwen. Lipscomb Academy is at Riverdale. Stewart County goes to Joe Burns. Blackman visits Coffee County. Culleoka hosts Perry County. Antioch is at Ezel Harding. Stewart's Creek goes to Mount Juliet. Mount Pleasant taking on visit. I just gave you some games that were actually at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock games. Blackman at Coffee County. Perry County at Culleoka. Antioch at Ezel Harding. Stewart's Creek at Mount Juliet. Mount Pleasant hosting Cornersville. Murfreesboro Central goes to Shelbyville. Rockville is at Smyrna. All of those are at 6 o'clock. At 6:30, Franklin is at Ravenwood. Battleground Academy hosts Providence Christian. Clarksville Northeast goes to Clarksville. Davidson Academy hosts Kirkwood. Pope Prep is at Friendship Christian. Rocket City, Alabama, and Giles County play a second game at 6:30 or thereabouts. Marshall County is at Hume Fogg. Nolensville goes to Independence. Lawson hosts Overton. Loretto takes on visiting Lawrence County. Columbia Academy goes to Middle Tennessee Christian. Centennial is at Page, and Rossview is at Springfield.
7 o'clock, South Lamar of Alabama takes on Westmoreland. Gallatin and Siloam Springs, Siloam, I have no idea. Of Arkansas, doesn't matter. And then Eagleville's at Laverne at some point today. Softball action this afternoon. Christ Presbyterian at 4:30 welcomes Middle Tennessee Christian. Ravenwood's at Hume Fogg, same time. Columbia Central will be at Loretto at 5. Mount Pleasant hosts Hickman County at the same time, as does Zion Christian and South Haven Christian at Zion. Culleoka will be at Spring Hill at 5. At 5:30, it's Giles County at Marshall County. Brentwood hosting Blackman. Northeast will be at John Overton, and Forest is at Summertown. At 5:45, Battleground Academy will be at Lawson. Columbia Academy is at Dixon County at 6. McGavick's at Laverne also at 6. Lebanon hosting Mount Juliet at 6:30, and also at 6:30 is Eagleville at Stewart's Creek. Got a couple boys soccer action today. Giles County is at Columbia Academy at 6, as is Wilson Central at Smyrna. And in the NBA, it's the Grizzlies in Sacramento. It's a 9 p.m. tip on Valley Sports. That is your rundown.
Top story brought to you, as always, by Piggly Wiggly over at Dealey's Mill in Columbia. Be sure and get through there for their delicious daily deli lunch options, as well as their hand-cut meats. And everything is cost plus 10% at the cash register. So Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill, Columbia, our top story sponsor. And our top story is 4 gold balls were handed out Saturday at the Glass House as the boys Division One basketball championships were decided. And one of those gold balls came back to Thompson Station.
Did in fact, man. What a what a tournament for Independence, man. Never really felt like any of those games were in real doubt late.
What's crazy is so they won their opener, they won their quarterfinal matchup against Laverne 88-74. They won 65-53 on Friday
Oh, that's
against Rossview. And then they win 53-44 against Cookville in Saturday's championship game. I mean, you've watched this team, you know that they like to get out and run. Cookville kind of kept them from being able to do that, yet they were still able to do what they needed to do. And that adaptability obviously went a long way for them in Saturday's championship. And in this, over the course of this season, they've had to play a lot of different ways to be able to be successful, and yet they've done so.
Yeah, and every time that I've seen Independence play, obviously Jet Montgomery does a fantastic job, and he puts up a lot of shots. They want him to put up a lot of shots. It's very similar to the Auden Slaughter situation at Santa Fe. Is the green light's there as long as it's a quality shot, and Jet's going to take them. And I thought he shot really well in the championship game, better than I've seen him shoot. In most of the games that we've seen. What I didn't expect, though, was to see, guys like Tylen Lewis not, be as productive on the offensive side. And again, that's mainly because Jet was so productive, and you're looking for the guy with the hot hand, and Jet had it. So, typically you see Tylen with 10 or more points. He only had 7 in that championship game. Corbin Walling, though, man, that kid had some big plays, not just scoring the ball, but a couple of rebounds that were just massive in that first half, particularly to help them take that 13-4 second quarter advantage. Man, just defensively, they did not allow offensive rebounds for Cookville, and that was a big difference, man. So congrats to those guys. Congrats to Jet Montgomery for etching his name in the record book.
Yeah, Jet is your tournament MVP after that 28-point performance in the championship game. And, apparently one of the assistant coaches after the Rossview game said, we've not really seen a Jet Montgomery game in a minute. And so he comes out and he goes 7 of 15 from the floor, 3 of 7 from behind the arc, hit all 11 of his his free throws.
He hit every free throw in the tournament, didn't he?
No, he missed one against Laverne.
Well, it must have been the first one because he hit 24 straight or something.
Yeah, he was 24 of 25. So it may very well have.
He hit 24 straight, which is a tournament record.
That's pretty solid. Yeah, he was 24 of 25. He was 5 of 6 against Laverne. So, like you said, it must have been his first one.
He got that one out the way, so
there you go.
So he can hit the rest of them.
There you go. Yeah, we'll get this miss done and over with, and then let's go from here. In 1A, Chattanooga Prep, following their 62-51 semifinal win over Santa Fe, defeated Frank Hughes 64-41 in the championship game. And, first of all, hats off to Frank Hughes. Student body in grades 9 through 12 of less than 100. I've heard 84. I've heard 93. I'm not sure exactly.
I think
what
93 is the number.
But
that's what I saw on TWSAA.org. But
well, you'd like to think they would know.
I mean, it may be 84 today. I mean, some kids may have dropped out or
didn't show up or any number of things,
transferred or whatever. But
less than 100.
It is fewer than 100. That's correct.
And made their way to the championship game. Kudos to them, because I tell you, I saw that Gordonsville Middle College game in the quarterfinals on Wednesday night. 49-40. Gordonsville with the win in overtime, and that may have been one of the hardest fought ball games I've ever seen. There were bodies flying all over the place in that one, and I don't want to say that Frank Hughes caught a break necessarily, but I don't know how fresh Gordonsville was at 2:15 on Friday after that. And Frank Hughes gets by the Tigers 48-43 to get into the championship game. And this Chattanooga Prep team is really good. And
they are really good. Now
we are hearing a lot about charter schools and that kind of thing, and do they belong, and this and that. And I don't know.
I'm super conflicted about it. And I do think that it's interesting that a 1A program in a city that has 84,000 people or something in its city proper, that doesn't include, outside the metro area, that they can also take from. But I'm just conflicted by it. It's also an all male school, right?
I don't
think
know.
It's an all male school, which, for NBA, they doubled it, right? They used to double it when they were Division I.
I think so.
And so that's how they ended up in 4A in football at one point. But I'm just conflicted about it. I just don't know enough about how prep schools work and how their enrollment is tallied, and are they able to kind of manipulate their attendance numbers and that sort of thing. I don't know.
There's a lot, but what really disappoints me the most about it is we don't hear about it until they're good.
Well, out of sight, out of mind, right? But it's not just Chattanooga Prep that I'm talking about. I'm talking any prep school. I don't know enough about how they work. Not just Chattanooga Prep.
I don't either. And so
what's the
really
one in Memphis? Power Academy.
Which one?
Yeah, like Power Academy last year was in 3A. The one that started
2A.
I'm sorry, in 2. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Wherever Giles County. Giles County's 3A in football. That's why I was getting.
They're 3A now. They were 2A last year.
That's right. But the one that started during COVID, I just don't know enough about those things to have a legitimate opinion. But I do think that somebody ought to know and be able to, and clearly the TSSAA has had this discussion. They put them in Division I. Why? I don't know. I wasn't there. But I do think that, somebody should.
I don't think there's any tuition being paid, is there?
I don't know. This is my point. I don't know.
Well, I think that would be the difference in being in Division II and being in Division I is that.
Well, then how do they pay their teachers? They're a public school? Are they a magnet school?
I believe they are. They're a charter school, which is a public school. I think they're like, and as far as I know, they're like Lead Academy in Nashville or Republic or some of those other schools.
Gotcha.
So I think.
Yeah,
again,
they probably
it's
are.
Like you said, I don't know.
I don't know enough about it.
But I figure just by virtue of the fact that they are in Division I that there is no tuition being paid.
That would be my guess.
So, but, obviously there's a lot of they shouldn't be in Class 1A. And again, I didn't really start hearing this until they got to Murfreesboro.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. If they're a public, if they're similar to a magnet school, I have no problem with it.
Now, I think,
and that's what it appears to be.
Yeah. So, Class 2A, second verse, same as the first. Alcoa for the second straight year defeats Douglas in the championship game. Tornadoes 76-67. Douglas has lost 2 games in the last 2 years.
Yep, both of them to Alcoa.
On a Saturday in March in Murfreesboro to Alcoa.
Yeah. They're not happy about it either.
That's tough.
But look, Alcoa has I said before the tournament that if anybody was going to beat Douglas, it was going to be Alcoa. Obviously, that's an easy thing to say since they did beat them last year. But I mean, even Brian at Smoky Mountain Sports was like, "Is anybody going to touch Douglas this time?" Like he's like, "I don't even know if Alcoa can touch him this time." And I said, "Well, if anybody can, it's going to be the Tornadoes." And clearly, that team is just loaded with talent, loaded with great players. And
start with Penn State signee Javen Carter.
Yeah, that kid is just insane.
Yeah. So,
and you know what? No one's taken anything away from Alcoa this week. No columns have been written.
I know at least one assistant football coach who will be relatively happy that that's the case.
There you go.
Based on comments that he made to me at the state wrestling tournament.
What a great basketball game, though. Just that might have been the best game of the of Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And in 3A, Knoxville Fulton continues to be a runaway train. Did they not? They won it last year as well, did they not?
Oh, that I don't know off the top of my head.
I feel like they did. They defeated what I thought was a pretty good Ridgeway team. I saw a little bit of their game against Creekwood on Friday, and Fulton just
they did
win it last year. Okay. Fulton beat them 68-47. 21-point win in the championship game. So, East Tennessee flexing its muscle on the hardwood with 3 of the 4 Division I boys championships. Good for them.
And you know, I think that's I think these charter schools and prep schools have made a massive difference in the parity among Tennessee high school basketball. I mean, because the big name kids that would be at those big time Memphis schools just aren't there because they're playing at at some big time prep school or getting ready to go to college at the D1 level, and they're not doing it in Memphis at a public high school.
All right. So
I don't know if that's great for the overall view of Tennessee high school basketball, but I think it certainly makes for more entertaining tournaments at the Glass House just because you're not going in with the Memphis team's going to win and there's nothing anybody can do about it, kind of like it used to be at times.
Well, it's not the Memphis team's going to win and there's nothing anybody can do about it, but at this point it's kind of Alcoa and Fulton are going to win and there's nothing anybody can do about it. So
well, I guess
I'm not sure.
But you can take that for a little while.
I'm not sure what parity is being.
Well, you can take that for a little while.
Why,
you can take a couple years. Well, I think you can just take it for a couple of years. It's not, been a decade or more of dominance, I mean, once you get to, if Alcoa wins 10 straight basketball championships, some columns might get written.
But I don't know that they're necessary. At least, I don't know.
I mean, that's
Alcoa is a hot button topic. Chattanooga Prep is going to be a hot button topic. I don't know that you're going to necessarily talk about Fulton, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, but overall, I just felt like I didn't feel like Alcoa was going to win and there's nothing you could do about it. I mean, I thought Douglas had as good of a shot as anybody was going to have.
You would certainly like to think coming in undefeated, coming out of Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, but there was a question mark, I guess is my point. Yes, the same team won it, but there was a question mark, and there was definitely a question mark in 4A because I don't think heck, Cookeville had to come from way behind in the first half to get past Maryville, and then Bartlett, struggled with Brentwood and then ended up getting beat by Cookeville. It was just
nationally ranked Bartlett. I think, I think Bartlett was probably the favorite coming into the week, and they don't even get to Saturday.
Well, and heck, they almost didn't make it out of the region. I mean, they had that last second shot in the region quarters that ended Whitehaven's season. So, I mean, heck, it's to me, 4A particularly was a crapshoot. And I mean, obviously I think Independence had every. I think they felt like they were going to get to the championship game. I certainly felt like they were going to. And once they got there, you didn't know Cookeville had just beaten Bartlett.
Right,
It was a really good Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great tournament from Wednesday on. I enjoyed it.
It really was. We're going to keep talking basketball, but we're going to ratchet it up a notch when we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, talking a little Field of 68, which gets started tomorrow night, actually. So stay with us here in the Lee Company studios when we come back. Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated cost plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Welcome back to the Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Chris Yao. And March Madness is officially here. We got the brackets yesterday. The Field of 68 for both the men's and the women's NCAA tournament has been set. And from everything I hear, UConn seems to be the favorite to win this thing again. Is that basically what the experts are saying that you're hearing, Chris?
That is the consensus among most television experts. Now,
Quote,
what I'll tell you is,
experts.
ain't nobody said UConn was going to win it last year. Not nary one of them. So,
Well, not only did nobody say UConn was going to win it last year, but nobody said they were going to play San Diego State in the finals either. So
after San Diego State beat Florida Atlantic,
maybe, yeah.
didn't nobody say that was going to happen, right?
Right,
So,
right. So
you
know,
just never know, man.
take it with a grain of salt. But
It's NCAA tournament. There's a reason nobody's ever had a perfect bracket, Mo.
they do kind of have a feel to them, though, from the way that they have gone through this season. It really kind of feels like an if not UConn, then who kind of thing.
Literally anybody. I mean, I'm going through my bracket and I'm sitting here going, I'm taking chalk the whole way, because if I pick an upset, it's going to be the wrong one. and the problem is this. The problem is that we've talked about it all year. This NCAA tournament is going to be the craziest tournament we've ever seen. It just is.
I'll tell you though, as I listened to the reveal last night and looked at the way these pairings fell, if there's going to be upsets, it feels like they're going to be in the South. Wait a minute. Not the South, the Midwest, wherever it is that Purdue is.
The East is where all the big time seeds are. The top four seeds in the East just got screwed, all of them, but including UConn.
Yeah, they did not make it easy for UConn. I'm sorry. In the Midwest, though, is where you've got that. You've got a couple of double-digit seeds that look really dangerous. I think Samford was dangerous anyway just because of the way they play, but then you're playing a Kansas team that, as we talked to Jerry Palm last week, they're beat up. Hunter Dickinson is questionable, I guess. They've got some injuries that they're dealing with. They got blitzed in the Big 12 tournament. Samford's going to give them trouble. And, McNeese and Will Wade.
That's an upset I picked. That's an upset I picked.
Well, and the thing is, this isn't your this isn't your older brother's Gonzaga.
Well, but they have been playing as well as anybody of late. I will give them that.
Mm-hmm.
They have played. I mean, they went on the road and beat Kentucky. They just. I just feel like they're playing really, really good right now, but it's still Will Wade. And I think he's one of the best coaches in the country, cheater or not.
That's the trouble I have with them. What if he uses powers for good?
Well, in this era of college sports,
maybe he is.
He can do all of the things he was doing before the FBI investigation, and nobody can stop him.
Well, because there are no rules.
There are no rules right now. And as they say at Outback, no rules, just right.
Just right.
For Will Wade.
It's literally the wild, wild west out there right now. Yeah.
And so for me, I think he's as good of a coach as any, and congrats to McNeese on their second round berth.
Yeah, Gonzaga. McNeese and Samford.
McNeese, Samford. I got College of Charleston beating Alabama. I'm telling you, this is going to be the craziest year. But the reason I have them, if you go look at Blake Lovell's Twitter, he kind of lays it out pretty well. The College of Charleston shoots the three ball better than anybody in the country. Alabama plays defense worse than anybody in the country, and so that's not a good combination.
It's not a good combination.
Not a good, especially in the NCAA tournament when three balls. If you're hot from behind the arc, you are very likely to win the game. Period. Especially in the first two rounds.
Yep.
I think my biggest thing from the committee standpoint, Iowa State should have been the last one seed.
You knew they weren't going to push North Carolina off the 1 seed.
I mean, maybe
you knew that.
Okay, but they were 2-1 against Houston this year. So why is Houston get the if Iowa State is a 2 seed, how is Houston a 1 seed? Same thing with Kentucky and Auburn, right? If Kentucky's a 3, how's Auburn a 4? Like, come on now.
Oh, so what you're saying is you want it to make sense, huh?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though, and this is very different from. Yes, I would like for it to make sense, but only because the committee literally puts out an entire booklet that says, "Here's how we're going to do it,"
and then
they don't do it. And so, like, that's the problem I have is like just be like the football committee and just say it's our decision.
No rules, just right.
it's whatever we feel like is best, and that's just the end of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But like Nevada,
we're not explaining anything to you.
Nevada should have been probably 10 or 12 spots higher than they were in the overall seed.
Mm-hmm.
Boise being in the first 4 is absurd. They underseeded the Mountain West at every single turn. And I just don't get it. So I don't know.
And Virginia getting in.
Virginia getting in at all was ridiculous.
And Indiana State not getting in.
And let me tell you who's the angriest today. The angriest team in all of the NCAA tournament is whoever's got to play New Mexico. Because New Mexico is probably a Sweet 16 level team. And I'm trying to find, I think they're an 11
Clemson.
Seed.
They are. They open against Clemson.
Clemson's pissed. Pissed. Baylor too. What you mean? Oh, they're pissed. Yeah, they show Clemson when New Mexico's name pulled up, and they probably was like, what? But here's the thing: they won't be. They're already on upset alert, so maybe that helps. But the ACC was down as a whole, and I'm just not sure that there's any ACC teams that I just love. Outside of North Carolina, just because they're a 1 seed.
I tell you what, I'm excited to see what NC State does. I am a DJ Burns fan.
How about that? That poor fan base was ready to fire him about 4 months ago. And now he's got an automatic extension.
Mm-hmm.
He's got $400,000.
Kevin Keats pulled a Flavor Flav. They got to pay me, boy.
But that wasn't even the best coaching performance of the weekend. Dan Munson going from getting fired on Monday, they let him coach the conference tournament.
I think he's still getting fired.
Oh, but they let him coach the conference tournament, and now he's in the NCAA tournament. Whoa.
Yep. Dan Monson's pulling an Antonio Pierce. My resume is on the hardwood.
But
you want to fire me, and I've not lost since you did.
Well, and so here's the thing about that is you had to know, if you're Long Beach, you had to know like you had a chance to win. You were the 4 seed. It wasn't like you were the 9 seed in the tournament and you were in the play-in game and you were going to get beat in the first or second round, and that was it. No, you're the 4 seed. You had a chance to win this thing. Don't fire him until.
I will tell you this though, and this goes back to Jeremy Foley, the old Florida AD. What should be done eventually must be done immediately.
Well, and here's the thing: if you don't fire him and then he goes out and wins, you can't fire him.
I.e., Georgia and Dennis Felton.
Oh
the
yeah,
year that they had the tornado at the Georgia Dome.
And they won the stupid tournament,
and they wanted to fire him. He wins the SEC,
couldn't fire him.
Goes to the NCAA's, couldn't fire him, and then they're dismal to start the following year, and they finally have to fire him anyway, mid-year.
Yeah, and could have had a full search and all of those things.
Yeah.
So, but what a wild turn of events, and Ohio State going with the interim
guy,
Chris
Jake
Diebold
Diebler.
or Jack?
No, Jake Diebler.
Diebler. I knew it was Diebold or something.
Diebler, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this has been a wild week. And when you talk about March Madness has been.
It ain't all on the floor.
Not everything, no. So this is going to be nuts, man. I think Spokane got some exciting stuff. If UAB Auburn matchup potentially in the second round would be fun. I think James Madison and Vermont could both win. James Madison and Wisconsin, Vermont, Duke, both of those could win and find themselves in the second round. Wouldn't that be funny? I mean, yeah, there's some interesting stuff out here. Like you said, Kansas Samford is absolutely an upset special.
We got to talk for a second about the women. We're probably going to need to talk about them more later in the week because we're not going to have time to talk about them as much as they deserve. But Middle Tennessee gets an 11 seed. They go to Baton Rouge, take on 6 seed Louisville. I saw them beat Louisville at Murphy Center last year with Haley Van Lith. I don't think Louisville is any better this year. This is a winnable game for MTSU. And then they would play the winner of LSU and Rice in the second round. So keep an eye on the Lady Raiders. Tennessee got a 6 seed.
Make sure to tell Calvin White and him, to make sure they secure their laptops. Make sure to lock the car door.
Well, the door was locked, Chris.
I'm just saying, at least don't make it any easier.
Put their laptop in the trunk. Yeah,
the trunk or something. But
I will get with the MTSU press corps and remind them, particularly if they're in New Orleans. Yeah, Tennessee is a 6 seed playing Green Bay in the NC State cluster. I guess NC State is the 3 seed. They will play Chattanooga.
How about them Packers? Oh, not the Packers.
They're not the Packers. I'm not sure what they are, but they're not the Packers. And Vanderbilt has a play-in game, but did not expect that. They got a 12 seed. Actually, you got 2 SEC teams playing in the first 4. It's pretty wild. And UT Martin as a 16. Of course, UT Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Southern Indiana would have been a 16.
I don't think so either, but UT Martin plays Holy Cross in a first 4 game. Vanderbilt plays Columbia in a first 4 game, and I think that winner, they are 12 seeds. The winner will play Baylor.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I think that's a winnable game for Vanderbilt. Both of those. Certainly Columbia and probably Baylor as well.
I agree. How about Chattanooga, Tennessee potential? If Chattanooga was to pull the big upset, Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Raleigh.
In Raleigh,
let's go.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
What about? Let's see. I saw Alabama and Florida State in the
that's an 8-9 game out in Austin,
and they got the 4th number 1 in Texas. So Texas was the number 4 overall seed.
Mm-hmm. I was really a little surprised that Stanford didn't hang on to that. They are the number 2 in that same region. Why are there 2 sites for the women when there are 4 for the men? I don't understand. Are they trying to boost attendance? Is that?
Yes, that is the goal. It's interesting that now this is the case, because I think if there were a time where the women could sustain 4 regional sites, it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll be curious to see how that plays out going forward.
Yeah. Chris, let's take a break. Let's come back and let's do our MON-STARS. So
let's do it.
We're going to take a break here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Come back with our top performers from the weekend. Stay tuned.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers, putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA. With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Welcome back to the Monday Mirror, and it's time for MON-STARS, our top performances from the weekend in sports. Yeah. Go ahead and get it started.
Yo.
Yow.
Well, I'll go with Jet Montgomery then. 28 points in the state finals, 24 of 25 from the line in the tournament, 24 straight to be a MVP in the Class 4A tournament?
Obviously a solid pick. I'm going to go with our other hometown hero. Alden Slaughter in 2 state tournament games averaged 35.5 points, 14.5 rebounds as Santa Fe won their quarterfinal before losing to the eventual champion Chattanooga Prep. In that one, all he did was score 41 points with 14 boards.
It's a pretty good day.
Pretty good day to not be a Mr. Basketball finalist.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a reminder.
I don't think that'll be a problem next year.
Not one of the 3 best players in the state in 1A.
That's what they tried to tell us.
That's what they did tell us.
How about Terrence Shannon Jr., Illinois guard, who had 40 in the win against Nebraska on Saturday and just followed that up with a 34-point performance in the Sunday championship game. Yeah. He was
only 34 against Wisconsin, huh?
He had 28 on Friday, 40 on Saturday, and 34 on Sunday. That's a weekend.
Wait a minute.
Right there.
Give me that again. 28, 40, and 34?
That's right.
68. It's 102 points in 3 games.
100. It's 100. I know that.
It's 102.
I don't know what the next one is, but it's 100.
So he averaged 34 in 3 games. In 3 games on 3 days, he averaged 34 points. Hey, when that
good luck, Morehead State.
When that guy comes downhill, he's coming downhill.
Yeah,
nobody's taking a charge either.
He's solid.
My next guy, I'm going to go to the ice. We're going to be speaking with Ann KIMMEL here later in the show, talking about these guys. But Roman Josi had a pair of goals in the Predators' 4-1 win out at Seattle on Saturday, as they continue their run of their point scoring run. What, points in 16 straight games now? Is that right?
At least 14. They're 12-2 in their last.
Is it 12?
14.
Okay, all right.
12-0-2.
12-0-2. So in the last 14 games, yeah. Okay, all right. So Roman Josi is my second MON-STAR.
My last one, let's go with Sam Surridge. Had a goal in that win against Charlotte. Too many teams with C's. Charlotte, Columbus, Cincinnati, Colorado. It's too many C's.
Charlotte. It was Charlotte that they beat 2-1 yesterday at Geodis, and the other goal was scored by Alex Mule.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce his name, so that's why I went with Surridge.
I hear you. Muyl. I'm gonna go with Mule until Valère comes on and straightens us out. So yeah, he scored the final goal, which stood up as the game winner in that 2-1 win over Charlotte. So yeah, those are our MON-STARS for the week. And shout out to UC, who had 23 saves in that 4-1 win over the Kraken. The Kraken were not released Saturday.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Quick break. Come back. Talk a little bit more college athletics, maybe away from the floor, because Chris clearly all in his feelings regarding the Southeastern Conference commissioner. If you could see the run of show, you'd understand what I mean. I'm sure he'll tell you more when we come back for the second hour of Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Join us here in the Lee Company studios after this break.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
The Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today goes into its second hour. Presented to you by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, Chris Yao, Maurice Patton. Segment 4. Greg Sankey is the worst? Question mark.
First, I got to give a shout out to old geezer.
Yeah.
He's over here killing us right now. Scalpers are paying $20 to get folks into the SEC finals. I don't know. Auburn typically brings a pretty good crowd. I had a lot of friends who are Auburn.
Auburn has a lot of alumni here in Nashville as well. I know at least 3 personally.
Yeah,
so.
I saw a bunch of my friends who were at the SEC tournament finals, and they were sitting in the 300s. So it certainly wasn't as bad as the AAC, which, they could have played at, Frisco High School and not been sold out. But
congratulations to AK, though.
Congratulations to Andy Kennedy, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Greg Sankey, the worst? Question mark?
Is there,
like you said,
is there a question mark there?
That question mark. And
yeah.
Look, Kyle Tucker of The Athletic wrote a story, and here's the one quote that needs to be dissected, and we should post it on Times Square and mock for years to come. What would Sankey say to the many people who believe the NCAA tournament is perfect just as it is and are pleading for its leaders to leave it alone? The first time I made a comment, within 2 minutes, people said that's the worst idea. He continues, well, that's actually not an intellectual exercise. I hope there's some effort to think things through. You have to give credit to teams like St. Peter's a couple years ago, Florida Atlantic's run. These are great stories, and certainly we want to respect those stories, but things continue to change. There's nothing with a
And see,
review.
hey, let me stop you for a second, because everything
Yes.
after the but is pretty toxic. Go
Is
ahead.
why he's the worst. Well, that's really the end of the quote. And I think first I will say this: I am not completely against the expansion of the NCAA tournament. All right, there have been a number of teams and some conferences that have entered the Division I ranks, and I do think that a small expansion would not be a negative. I do think it would be a negative if similar to the college football playoff, it were, or to what they tried to do with the NIT, only allowing power conferences to be in those extra 8 to 10 slots, or however many slots there are, probably 8.
Right.
I would think. Then, to me, I just feel like it's not a terrible idea on the surface. What I do think is that if someone tells you in the first 2 minutes it's a terrible idea, it's probably a terrible idea. And messing with the NCAA tournament too much, then calling out folks like St. Peter's and Florida Atlantic and saying that, we respect them, but we don't want those stories anymore.
Give me that story over the number 10 team from whatever power conference it is that's going to get in instead.
I think Matt Brown said it best.
He really did.
And, it's not March Madness without madness. And no one cares if, let's say, NC State defeats Syracuse. Yeah, there were some people talking about it, but it didn't. We're not having a conversation today about how incredible that run was, and it was the biggest upset ever, or whatever. I mean, people across the country aren't really having that conversation today. People across the country were talking about Gonzaga in 2004. They were talking about St. Peter's 2 years ago. They were talking about Florida Atlantic all the time last year because they made it to the Final Four.
And they're talking about Indiana State not getting in.
That's right. That's where we're at. And it's not madness if no one cares about the quote unquote upsets. You can put NC State at 11, but if they beat Virginia or whatever, no one's going to care. It's not that big of a deal. It's a power conference team beating a power conference team.
Power conference team.
That happens all the time.
Big dang deal.
No one cares. And if you remove the madness, I don't know if you know this or not, and then this may not be a conversation that's being had on your social media, but I have seen it in a number of places on my social media, and have had conversations with people who have changed my mind about the fact that there are no stars in college basketball, men's college basketball right now. There's nobody that is a household name. Doesn't mean there aren't great players. Dalton Connect's a great player. RJ's a great player. Hunter Dickinson is a great player when healthy. I mean, there are some great basketball players, but there's nobody at the level of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and
Juju
some
Watkins.
of these Juju. There just aren't. People know who those people. If you said those names right now to a casual person walking down the street, they're going to know who that is. They have no idea who Dalton Connect is.
If you say their first name,
yeah. If you say
Caitlin, if you
just say
Angel,
Caitlin or
if
Angel,
you say Juju,
done.
They know who you're talking about. You know who they're talking about.
None of that is the case. You can have great players. I don't think anybody would argue that knows. Anybody who knows would tell you that Eddie Brown was a great arena football player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if nobody knows your name. If only the people who are a fan of that sport, who are a real fan of that sport, know who you are, you're not a star. And
You
you're
need
going to
somebody that kind of
remove,
transcends a little bit.
you're going to remove the star. You're going to remove the madness. You're going to remove the Dougie buckets. You're going to, that's the kid from St. Peter's that went to Bryan or whatever. You're going to remove that from the equation.
You're going to remove Larry Nerd.
And I hate to tell you, but if you start removing that, you're going to start removing dollars. What's good for college basketball is good for the Southeastern Conference, and Greg Sankey hasn't quite figured that out yet.
Well, that's because Greg Sankey thinks that the only thing that matters is football. And here's
Then why does he care about basketball? Why won't you just shut up?
Well,
Greg,
here's the thing.
shut up.
Probably his SEC basketball coaches should be pulling him to the side and saying, Greg, slow your roll.
Calm down, buddy. You're gonna say something you're gonna regret.
He may already have. Because, this hasn't landed well, for the most part.
No, I don't. I have not seen.
I don't know where it has landed well.
I have not seen a single social media post in favor of it.
And as you mentioned, Matt Brown, friend of the show, at Matt Brown EP, extra points. The D1 college basketball tournaments are the most accessible postseason event to casual American sports fans, period. It isn't because casual sports fans can understand each individual rivalry or because they can appreciate the nuance of a well-executed Princeton offense. It's because the meritocratic beauty of the bracket lines up perfectly with the mythos of the American dream. That with enough talent and pluck, the David can defeat Goliath. The buff future Dennis can defeat the future NBA All-Stars. The Sons of Toll can defeat whoever gets to go to Yale and Duke. And we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Dunk City.
God, George Mason. They were a 14 seed.
FAU. St. Peter's, like you said. We've seen those. Murray State was one of those at one time. Middle is the first school that has beaten a Power 5 program 2 years in a row from a 12 seed or lower.
Well, and that just so happens this day in history, March 18th, 2016.
Yes, sir.
Middle beats Michigan State 90-81 in the first round of the tournament to advance, and then they defeated Wisconsin, yeah. So 2 Big Ten teams.
Yeah. Those are the days.
That's yearning for those days. But yeah, it's
and to legislate that out again for another Big Ten team or another ACC team or another SEC team. It's already hard enough for those conferences.
I'm fine if we want to expand the tournament. I don't think 96 is the answer, but I do think that.
Well, not only is 96 not the answer, but 96 is definitely not the answer if 20 of those 28 extra spots are going to go to power conference teams.
Right. That's where I'm at. I would be fine with expanding it to a point where we can include some more mid-majors.
To where we know Indiana State's going to get in.
Right. Where Indiana State a very deserving team. Now I know there were bid stealers all over the place. North Carolina State bid stealer. There were more bid stealers than probably should have been. I think UAB was a bid stealer.
Probably.
I don't think they were getting in without winning the conference tournament.
But South Florida should have gotten in.
South Florida should have been in. I mean, those are things that I would be in favor of. I'm not in favor of expanding the tournament, like you said, just to get in more 14-loss Power 5 teams. If you lose 11 conference games, you ought to be out. Period. Can I have a losing record in conference and be one of the best 68 teams in the country? Or 96 for that matter. You just can't. Anyway.
Yep. Speaking of 17 lost teams, the NIT.
The NIT goes away with expansion, right?
Well, I mean, if it's to 96.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's bad enough when people say that you're playing for the title of the 69th best team in the country, which, you know, isn't necessarily true, but that's certainly a talking point around the NIT. And so now if you go to 96 teams, then you're playing for the 97th best team.
Right.
And who wants that?
Yeah. And you know, I think all these teams opting out, which by the way is horse manure. No, play. If you're a coach and you're opting out,
well, here's the thing. I will say this because I have seen teams play in the NIT that did not play in the NIT. And if you're not going to play, if you're not going to take it to heart, if you're not going to be serious about it, decline the bid. Don't waste my time.
I would rather players opt out. I'm okay if a player opts out. A team, I don't know. If you've got enough to field a team, 8 to 10, I think you ought to play.
I really don't know why you wouldn't play for much the same reason that I don't know why you wouldn't play in a bowl game if you have the opportunity to do so. I mean, it's that much more chance, you know, to play, to practice, to develop.
Here's the thing. You've got seniors who, if they didn't get selected for the NCAA tournament, if their team didn't get selected, you know, they put their jersey on for the last time and didn't know it. They didn't get a chance to prepare for that. I mean, I think for your seniors, you do it. I think for your young kids, you do it.
For different reasons, obviously.
And here's, oh, by the way, when Villanova hosts VCU and UCF and South Florida and whatever, guess what you're doing with the transfer portal? Those are on-campus visits. Listen, if the transfer portal is bad, it can also be good. I mean, the fact that by the way, the fact that South Florida was not a top 4 seed in any region is insane. They are traveling to UCF, 17 and 15 UCF out of the Big 12. That's ridiculous. But anyway, Tom Crean had a rant. Say what you want to about Tom Crean, but I think that he kind of nailed it. I think staffs are big enough that you can handle recruiting in the transfer portal. If players want to opt out, let them opt out. But if you're a team and here's the thing, why is the NCAA allowing it? NCAA owns the NIT. Why are they letting them opt out?
Why make somebody play that doesn't want to play?
Because the NCAA still cares about money. And Indiana brings in money. You know what I mean? I mean, Indiana is going to sell some tickets.
Well, apparently North Carolina turned it down last year, and Oklahoma, Pitt, and St. John's all opted out this year in addition to the Hoosiers.
St. John's opting out is a little funny, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you're St. John's, but whatever. I mean, I don't know. But now we're sitting here and we've got, we've got the North Texas is in. We've got, there's some teams in this that are probably shouldn't be in it that are.
Yeah.
Because of other teams opting out. And it's just like, I don't know, man. The NIT used to mean something. I think it still should.
Well, the NIT used to mean something when you were only taking, 48 teams to the NCAAs, 32 teams to the NCAAs. I mean, now that you're taking 68 teams, I'm not sure exactly what it does mean. And again, as we consider, further expansion,
I would not be opposed to the NIT being only mid-majors. Now, how do you define mid-majors? I think that's a slippery slope. But
whoa, wait a minute. You're going to exclude the Power Five from something?
But I'd watch it.
Oh, you'd watch it. I'd watch it.
I think a lot of people would watch it.
That people would watch it, but can you imagine the hue and cry from the high majors?
Well, they're going to be in that NIL tournament anyway.
The postseason NIL tournament.
The postseason NIL tournament that's going to have Wake Forest and Georgia in it.
This is the first year of the new look NIT. Top 2 teams from the net rankings from each of the major 6 conferences that did not make the NCAA tournament field will get the first 12, or did get the first 12 NIT automatic bids and host.
Did they? I mean, did any of those opt out?
Well, I would assume.
I would think
some
Pitt.
Combination of Oklahoma, Pitt, St. John's, and Indiana. You would think that some of them were kind of fell into that. I don't know, because we don't have a listing of NITs.
I don't have the net.
Yeah.
In front of me. But I would think that they would be in it.
You would think that some of those would have been in it. Yeah. I mean, because Pittsburgh they were kind of one of the last ones out, weren't they?
Pitt was the last 4 out. Who else was the last 4 out?
Oklahoma?
I think Oklahoma was the last 4 out. Indiana State was the last 4 out. Indiana State was the highest
29th
ranked net team to ever be left out of the tournament.
29.
Which is absurd.
Yeah. Speaking of rants, we have Joe Sullivan tomorrow. And I'm sure he'll be on one.
I think he will, in fact. It's going to be a lot of fun to visit with him, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let's step away for a second. Come back and let's do that hockey with Ann Kimmel here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. We'll be right back. Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Monday Mirror continues here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, and we are now joined by Penalty Box Radio's and KIMMEL. And the last few times we've had you on have been pretty enjoyable. I'm sure this one will be as well. But tell us something that we've not talked about this Predators team over this, 14-game point scoring run?
Yeah, this has been a ton of fun. Of course, I credit that to you gentlemen, but talking about winning is also way more fun than talking about a 9-2 loss to Dallas.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a really interesting run for the Nashville Predators. Like you said, 14-game point streak. They're 12-0-2. And I think one of the things that is so interesting about this run for the Nashville Predators is that so many things are coming together at just the right time for this team, where you can't just say, hey, it's this one player or it's this one adjustment that the team has made. I think the hockey gods have had mercy. And so many things are coming together at the right time for this team. And I think that is what is leading to this really exciting play, this really consistent play from the team.
At what point, Ann, does it cease to be a fluke and actually the indication of a pretty good team? I almost said ball club, but a pretty good team.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid question, because the expectation at the beginning of the season was, wouldn't it be sweet if the Predators somehow snuck into the playoffs? Mm-hmm. And throughout part of the season, it was, wouldn't it be sweet if this team somehow found a way to sneak in? But what you're seeing right now is a team that looks like it belongs. It doesn't seem like it would be a fluke. This doesn't seem like a team that's going to make it into the first round and get swept in the first round. So I think you have to consider that this could be a very good Predators team, but I do think some things have to continue to go right for them. I think they have to avoid injuries, which has been huge. This has overall been an extremely healthy Nashville Predators team. I think you need to keep players like Roman Yossi playing as hot as he is. Philip Forsberg, you're getting excellent goaltending from UC Saros and Kevin Lankinen. So I think if you can keep these different elements going, you might have to land at, wait a minute, the Nashville Predators could actually be a really good hockey team. And this is the first year of this reset.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy about it is, I don't think anybody expected, like you said, this team to be in contention for a playoff spot at least. And if they were, it was going to be a very sneak in type of performance, but that's not the case at this point. I think most people expect that Nashville's going to make the playoffs with their 82 points, no matter what happens over the next several games. But what has been their most important factor through this 14 these 14 games, other than us talking trash about them against Dallas on the show?
Okay, I don't want to discount that. I do think that we all deserve a little credit. So
I agree.
Let's not discount that totally. They are probably doing some things too that we need to address. I think the main thing is that everybody at this point in the season understands what they need to do. I don't think there's any confusion when it comes to individual players, when it comes to forward lines, defensive pairings, and when it comes to this whole team. Everybody understands what it takes, the level it takes to win games against top teams, against.
Why can't they do it against bad teams then?
You know what? That is such a great question. Really, that's a great question because, and I talked to Andrew Burnett this morning, saying, hey, you're on this win streak. What are the things that can trip a team up in this win streak? And he said, part of it is that focus. And if you play a game, say, I don't know, for instance, tomorrow night against the San Jose Sharks, the worst team right now in the league, and you in your mind are thinking, man, Thursday, Florida Panthers, that's what's going to trip you up. So I think it's about focus and really kind of being where your skates are. Be in the game where your skates are. And I think teams tend to, when you play a team that is worse than you, tend to think we don't have to do as much. We don't have to try as hard. This is going to come easy. And I think Nashville's seen that this season. Hopefully they've learned their lesson from that. And I think that they're in a groove where they can feel the level that it takes to be successful over this stretch. So fingers crossed we don't see it tomorrow against San Jose, but that is a very real thing with teams.
And KIMMEL of Penalty Box Radio joining us here on Main Street Sports today, talking a little Preds. And over this stretch, and you talked about the fact that there have been so many different players that have kind of contributed to this success. Do you feel like there has been any one constant maybe that has been overlooked throughout this stretch?
As far as a player?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, really, I think you have to look at Roman Yossi. Of course, the offense has been fantastic for the Predators through this run. They've outscored their opponents 57-27. So offensively, this team is buzzing, and you've got to give credit to the players for that. But I really think you have to step back and say Roman Yossi is a difference maker in this stretch. And I think that's an on and off ice component. He is playing the best hockey of the season. He's having one of his best seasons, second only to that 96-point season in 2021-22. So he's really come into his own, and it's not been a smooth transition for Roman Yossi. This new system required something different of him, but I think he's settled into that. And over this stretch of hockey, you see him offensively contributing. You see him being so reliable defensively. He and Dante Fabro, before Fabro was injured, that was a very good shutdown defensive pairing for the Predators. So I think you're seeing that Roman Yossi game where offensively he is contributing defensively, he is really a force to be reckoned with. So for me, I feel like he is maybe the player who is sort of carrying the team a little bit. He's a little bit the Samwise Gamgee, I like to say, where he kind of carries the ring. And I think that is one of the reasons the Predators are on this run is Roman Josi.
I think we'd all agree with that. I mean, Yossi's always been a very steady part of this franchise and this roster. So, getting steady play from him and getting what you expect out of him makes a big difference. That being said, just got a couple new faces gracing the Preds roster this week. Tell us a little bit more about about these guys from Milwaukee that we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. Of course, Spencer Stastny, defenseman, was called up when Dante Fabro was injured. And in the game against Winnipeg, Spencer Stastny suffered an upper body injury. He is week to week. And that one breaks my heart a little bit because Spencer Stastny really is a unique player, very good defensively, very smart player, but he also skates better than almost anyone I've ever seen. I mean, you see him on the ice. He is efficient. He is fast. And I think it's a different element. So it's a little tough to see him out of the lineup. Very excited. The Preds announced today that they are bringing up defenseman Mark Del Gaizo. And this is a young man who I really am excited to see again in the NHL. He's maybe not somebody who jumps out at you off of the stat sheet. I kind of jokingly refer to him as fun size. He's 5'10", 5'11". So he's not this big, massive defenseman, but he is extremely smart. He is the hardest worker. Like Mark Del Gaizo may not be the most talented defenseman on the roster, but he's going to be the player who's going to outwork everybody else. And I also think he has kind of a sneaky offensive upside where he knows how to kick off an offensive play. He may not be the guy who finishes it, but he is a guy who knows how to kick off an offensive play. So, he was here at the beginning of the season. I'm very excited to see him jump into the lineup, hopefully tomorrow night, and see what he can kind of add back at the NHL level.
And Kimmel of Penalty Box Radio joining us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. 9 teams have 40 wins in the NHL. With a win tomorrow night against visiting San Jose, the Preds would become the 10th. And again, when we talk about what we expected out of this team coming into this year, that's not nothing, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. I think this has been this run, especially the consistency of the team in this run, I think really has knocked the socks off of a lot of people in Nashville. But I also think across the league, I don't think anybody saw this coming. And I think you have to give credit to this roster, to these veterans who really have kind of shepherded this team. But I also think you have got to give a lot of credit to Andrew Brunette for what he has been able to do with this roster. You've gotten rid of some players in the offseason, brought in some older veterans. You're trying to develop young players. And I think Andrew Brunette has done a really good job of communicating his message and communicating what he expects out of this team. Sometimes maybe it's been a little bit harsh. I'm looking at the U2 concert that didn't happen, but it's been very effective. And I think Andrew Brunette is pulling out of this team their very best. And I think he's doing it at just the right time.
Preds at home tomorrow night against San Jose. That's a 7:00 puck drop. They go to Florida Thursday. And then they're at home for Detroit on Saturday and for Vegas a week from tomorrow. So 3 of the next 4 at home. Pretty friendly portion of the schedule, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely helps. They struggled at home early in the season, and I think they finally figured out what they need to do on the ice and at home to make Smashville a hard place to play in. You're seeing that with their on ice play. I think the crowd in Bridgestone Arena has completely bought into what they're seeing as well. And the environment at Bridgestone is so exciting. So I'm really looking forward to seeing these games. I'm especially excited to see what they do against Vegas at home, because, you know, that's going to be a tough game. The Florida game on the road, man, Florida, you know, you talk about the Nashville Predators not being a team people kind of factored into the postseason. You look at the Florida Panthers and you think
They're just as hot too.
yes, this is a cup contender. So what is going to happen when these two teams face off? I think that's going to be one of those games that tells you a lot about this Nashville Predators team.
Mo, we've been doing this show for 4 years now.
Roughly.
And for as long as we've been doing this show, my biggest pet peeve with the Nashville Predators was one simple thing. Inability to handle the puck. Never playing with it in the offensive zone. Well, under Andrew Brunette for the 2023-24 season, according to our friends at Bally Sports, the Predators have had the puck in the offensive zone 43.6% of the time, which is fourth most in the National Hockey League, and in their defensive zone just 37.9% of the time, third fewest in the NHL. No surprise that a team that is maybe less talented than the top tier teams being successful when they find a way to play on offense.
Yeah.
Puck possession means something, huh?
It absolutely does. And to me, it feels like this is, if the Predators are able to improve the talent level over the next couple of years following this reset and continue to play hockey the Andrew Brunette way that we're seeing, this could open a real window for Nashville to win the Stanley Cup.
Absolutely. And this is the style of play that you have to play these days to win the Stanley Cup. You know, Nashville played a little bit more cautious previously. That's just not going to get you where you need to go. And Andrew Brunette has introduced a style and a system. Like you said, you add a little bit more talent to this, and you have a team that's comfortable playing this way. And I agree with you. I think the window and the potential for this franchise grows exponentially.
Yeah.
And Kimmel, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you and look forward to visiting with you again here soon.
This sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you. When we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, it's the grab bag. A few things that need our attention, but not a lot. Stay tuned when we come back to the Lee Company studios after this. I'm Maurice Patton, and on Main Street Sports Today, we bring you the voices of your favorite teams from preps to pros. Otherwise known as the VOT, Mike Keith.
The bottom line is we can teach Will Levis woke.
I just don't know who's going to work with you on your base stealing now that EY's gone.
Well, that has nowhere to go but up. And I was just like, oh, guys, not again. Can we just bury that, burn that footage, and not bring it back?
No. No.
Thank you. We'll keep it going past the All-Star break, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out. There's always a good story to tell.
Can you guess where I am today, Mo? Where am I?
It's not Reese Smith Field, is it?
Yeah.
So anytime you play Chicago, you want to win. That's
you got that right. And
that's bottom line.
Be a buzz.
When you're walking the dog, you keep the bags that you need for the dog in the bag, and you don't even have to wear it. You can just hold it, which is what I do when I walk the dog. So
I think the fanny pack probably needed a little rebranding.
It did. It really did.
On your show logo, we've got to get a puck in there. There's a basketball. There's a football. There's a baseball. Maybe not a puck. How about Mo brandishes a hockey stick?
Tune in daily at 2 p.m. on Main Street Media TV.
It's the final segment of the Monday Mirror here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Chris, we both paid a little bit of attention to some college baseball on top of everything else that was going on this weekend. Tennessee goes down to Tuscaloosa and drops 2 of 3 to open SEC play. How concerned?
I wouldn't have known, but one of the guys in my fantasy football league is a very in tune college baseball fan and obviously an Alabama fan. So that's
okay.
Yeah. I didn't even know we won Friday until he started talking about who won Saturday. I'm like, why didn't you tell us who won yesterday? Oh, wait.
No, he was trying to whistle past that one, huh?
Yeah. Didn't whistle past the series, though, as they did take 2 of 3. I mean, the only thing that I saw, Kavaris Tears, man, with an absolute bomb on Friday to help Tennessee win that one.
He does that. Kavaris doing Kavaris things, apparently. But yeah, they are they're 1-2 after the opening weekend.
Better than last year's opening weekend when they were 0-3.
Well, yeah.
Getting swept at Missouri.
Well, then this is better.
This would be better than, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know what you read into the first weekend of conference play. I guess if Vol fans are anything like Braves fans, and then the sky is falling and the season is over, right?
That's been the consensus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of folks, and maybe rightly so. You go back and you look at yesterday's 7-6 loss, and Alabama scored 3 in the 8th to kind of take control of that one. Had Tennessee was up 5-4 thanks to a ground out RBI from Kavaris.
Yeah,
get them across however you can get them across, but a lot of folks are worried about the pitching. Maybe the bullpen isn't quite as overpowering, or maybe it is, and you just had the wrong guy in. I don't know, but I mean, they used an opener yesterday. AJ Russell went 2 innings before Nate Snead came in for 5 1/3, and he's the one who gave up 4 of the 7 earned runs. So
AJ Russell is from Franklin, and AJ Snead is the Wichita State transfer, right?
Nate Snead, but
what did I say? I'm sorry.
AJ. Yeah, well, you just said AJ Russell, so
yeah. Nate Snead is the Wichita State transfer, right?
Right.
Okay.
And so, I mean, maybe left him in a little too long. Could have went to Kirby Cannell a little earlier, potentially. Did not, and it turned into a loss. But I don't think not having one extra pitcher is going to be the difference in this team going to Omaha or not and being successful there. I mean, maybe this is a team that needs to be less successful. And when I say, I mean, early on, where you've got to build some guys up instead of everybody just having their roles from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's concerning or not.
We shall see. What do we got next?
Xavier is at Lindsey Nelson on Tuesday before Ole Miss comes to town next week.
Ole
Miss
Miss for
weekend.
3 this weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Tomorrow is, speaking of baseball, tomorrow is Vanderbilt Belmont at First Horizon, I believe.
Okay.
So just FYI, that's a big one. Always fun when you get a chance to go to First Horizon and see a game. But anytime you can get 2 outfield tickets and 2 Daddy's dogs for $30 on 2 for Tuesday at Vanderbilt games. So that's a pretty good deal because Daddy's dogs will fill you up. I don't know if you've had any, but they're not like regular hot dogs. They're legit hot dogs.
Daddy's dogs, huh?
Yeah. So worth that, but I don't know if that's the case tomorrow at First Horizon against Belmont, but that'll be a fun game because they've got South Carolina. They've got to go to South Carolina, matter of fact, this weekend. So
now Vanderbilt swept who this weekend? I'm sorry?
18th ranked Auburn.
Okay. And they're on a little bit of a run, aren't they? Is that 13, 14 straight for them?
Have not lost since the Sunday finale against Gonzaga on February 25th. When they lost
straight.
9-8. So
they have won 13 straight. They are 18-3 on the year, as is Tennessee, by the way.
Yeah, but Vanderbilt's wins include one over 15th ranked Texas. They've and then of course sweeping 18th ranked Auburn certainly gives you some. It makes you feel good if you're a Vanderbilt fan right now. There's no question.
Absolutely, they and Kentucky are tied for the top of the SEC East. Florida went 2-1 over the weekend.
Do we still have divisions in baseball?
Well, maybe we don't.
I don't know. You may have just broken some news for me.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at SECsports.com, and yes, we have SEC East and West for baseball this year.
Wow.
Now maybe they're going away next year.
That's interesting.
But yes, we have divisions. Again, according to the website.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's clearly there. I mean, and Arkansas, by the way, #1 team in the country according to D1 Sports, and they are just juggernauts.
17-2. They've won 13 straight after sweeping this weekend as well.
Yeah, juggernauts.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the SEC. Everybody's good. LSU dropped 2 of 3 to fall to 17-4.
Jeez. Yeah, when LSU is 17-4 and sitting down near the bottom of the division rank, it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is, man.
Georgia got swept, and they're 17-4. I mean, everybody's good except Missouri and Auburn. Looks like.
Well, and Auburn's ranked 18th in the country.
They're 13-6 after getting swept by Vanderbilt. So,
I mean, again. 18th in the country, and they're not even that good, apparently. Yeah. I mean, it's absurd. But that just goes to show, man, this conference is ridiculous, and
it really is.
Losing 2 out of 3 to Alabama on the road, especially the way the third one went, I ain't concerned if I'm a Tennessee fan.
Especially in the first weekend. I'm not sure how big a deal it is.
Right.
So, Karen Weekly brushing up on her comedic chops on Twitter this weekend after the Lady Vols went over to Como and got a sweep.
Over 11th ranked Missouri, by the way. 14 wins in a row for the Lady Vols.
They won the finale 4-0 to complete the sweep. And
dude,
after Vol softball at Vol_softball tweeted out spring cleaning with a graphic of that 4-0 score. At Karen Weekly retweeted it and said, stood on business. Which I'm sure Josh Heupel appreciated that one as much as anybody.
That's a fantastic tweet. Yeah, man, I didn't think I could like Karen Weekly more, and yet now I do.
It's kind of cool the way those coaches kind of stand up for each other like that. So, yeah, that's fun to see.
Carlin Pickens, I don't know if you saw her lines from this weekend, but Kate 11 in that Sunday 4-0 win. Walk just won, 3 hits. Her 8th shutout of the year. Her shutout streak extended to 46 innings. 46 scoreless innings in a row, which goes back to March 2nd. Dude, their teams are hitting 099 against her since March 2nd.
099. That's not even
And-
1 of 10.
Right. And Laura Mueller continues her hot streak after we kind of talked about how she'd been struggling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's got 6 home runs after she had the solo shot to straightaway center. Kiki Malloy hit her 8th, and McKenna Gibson had her 4th. So, you know, chicks dig the long ball for the Lady Vols.
Nice to see Laura Mueller getting.
It is. I'm
on the
glad
beam,
that she has figured it out.
Yeah. Hopefully she can ride that for a while. Yeah. Telephone.
It was, in fact.
What else? Where we want to go? Do we
Well-
want to talk about this little deal at Bristol?
Yeah. Have you seen this?
I'm seeing it.
Yeah. Like, I just saw it yesterday. So,
well, I think it just happened yesterday.
Okay, so they're apparently going to put a baseball field in the infield of.
Well, they put a football field in there. Why can't they put a baseball field in there?
A baseball field kind of does more this than football. It's kind of straight. It fits inside of a. I mean, it's going to be really weird, right?
You can use the track as a warning track, right?
It's just like Texas, where they had the big hill in center field.
Yeah, Towles Hill at Houston.
You got to run up the 17 hit. The 17-degree bankings to get a home. No, that would be really bad.
So hopefully we can talk a little bit more to Heather Williams about this when she visits with us on Wednesday. But apparently, during yesterday's Food City 500 pre-race show, Fox Sports host Chris Myers mentioned that BMS Bristol Motor Raceway will be the site of a future Major League Baseball game.
He left nothing to question.
No other details were mentioned by Speedway officials. I'm reading from, sorry, Heather, but WCYB doesn't have anything on it. Reading from the Johnson City Press, no other details were mentioned by Speedway officials. Also, rumors circulated it could be a game between the Atlanta Braves and Texas Rangers. Atlanta has a strong following in the region, imagine that, with a radio and television presence. Texas has a local connection with outfielder Evan Carter, an Elizabethton native, helping lead the Rangers to their first World Series championship in 2023. It is believed the game will take place next season. So it won't be this
I just want to see the renderings of a baseball stadium at Bristol with 145,000 people in the stands.
How many did they have for the football game?
145. whatever the capacity
whatever
was,
it holds
is
what they had.
I don't think the baseball game is going to get that many, but it will be unique to watch. I mean, you won't be able to see anything.
Yeah, and that's my thing. I mean, it would definitely depend on where I'm sitting as to whether or not I would be interested in going.
I'm not sure that you could sit anywhere in there and it be.
Well, don't they have to bring in some stands? I mean,
where are you going to put them?
Well, around the backstop?
I guess around the backstop. Yeah, that would be it. But then, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, I think it all comes down to what it looks like.
The battle at Bristol
facility.
156,990 people.
Where is this?
At Bristol. That was the football game.
Okay. One what?
156,990. So 157,000 people. And like football was an okay. They actually did bring bleachers in for that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see how this works.
Hopefully Heather will be able to give us a little bit more insight when we get her on Wednesday, as well as on the race, which Denny Hamlin won. So Tomorrow,
Yeah.
Joe Sullivan, Chip Walters. Wednesday, Heather Williams. Come back with us tomorrow and Wednesday and the rest of the week starting at 2 o'clock here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. That's Chris Yao. I'm Maurice Patton. I'll be here tomorrow. Other than that, we'll see. Talk to y'all later.